Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at 5 movements plus one little bonus tip on how to lower your stress levels. So I've put these movements together in a specific sequence, starting from the most relaxing movement up to the most energetic movement. Now what I recommend is if you're doing this at the start of the day, then you follow the order that's in this video. That way you're going to start with a more relaxing one and finish with the more energetic one, which is going to leave you feeling ready to take on the day as well as having your stress reduced. Now, if however you're doing this at the end of the day, then I suggest you actually reverse the order. That way you're going to be starting with the more energetic exercise and finishing with the more relaxing movement. That's going to help you unwind and feel ready to wrap up the day and get to bed for a good night's sleep. Okay, so for our first movement, we're not actually going to be doing a huge amount of movement at all. What we're going to do is some diaphragmatic breathing. Now I've chosen this one specifically because it's probably the movement out of all 5 that I'm going to show you that's going to have the biggest effect, because it's going to actually have a physiological impact on the body and take you out of a stressed sensation to a relaxed sensation. Now the reason is, when we breathe in a relaxed state, we should be using our diaphragm. Our diaphragm is a big slab of muscle that sits underneath the rib cage. When we breathe in, our diaphragm flattens to create space in the rib cage to allow the lungs to fill up with air. And when we breathe out, it goes back up like so to then help expel that air from the lungs. However, when we're in a stressed situation, our body goes into fight or flight mode. And so what it starts to do is it uses the accessory muscles on the top of our chest here to lift the rib cage up and lower it down to help force more air into the lungs. This is great if we need to escape from a stressful situation. However, a lot of us have got such stressful lives that actually we find ourselves breathing with our accessory muscles far more than with our diaphragm. In fact, for a lot of people, it actually becomes the norm and they stop using their diaphragm completely. So if we can start our day or finish our day with some diaphragmatic breathing, then we can actually change our body from that stressed state that it's in to a more relaxed state. So here's how you're going to do it. We're going to lie down on our back like so. You're going to put one hand onto your tummy, one hand onto your chest. Now what we're thinking about doing here is filling our tummy with air when we breathe in. We're not actually filling it with air, we're taking it into our lungs, but by thinking about doing that, we're pushing our tummy out, causing our diaphragm to open up to create that space. We're going to have a hand on the chest to try and avoid the rib cage lifting up. You're not going to physically hold it down, you're just going to feel for that movement. If you feel this trying to lift up, then think more about pushing the tummy out to breathe in. Okay, so hand on the tummy, hand on the chest. Take a big deep breath in through your nose and think about filling your tummy up with air. And then breathe back out through the nose, flattening your tummy back down. Okay, in through the nose and back out. Okay, what I want you to do is do that 10 times. 10 really deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose, thinking about filling your tummy up with air. Now, if you're someone who's been using accessory muscles a lot, you may find this quite challenging. You may find it really difficult to stop your rib cage from coming up and down at the same time. Over time, it will get better. So try not to worry too much. As long as your focus is really on taking that air into your tummy, you will start using your diaphragm more and more. Okay, that is movement number 1. So for our second movement, we're going to do a stretch. It's one of my absolute favorite stretches. We're going to do a torso twist. Now this is predominantly for the muscles of the lower back. Now what I tend to find is when people are feeling stressed, their muscles tend to tense up quite a lot and the lower back really takes the brunt of it. So if we can do a nice stretch to release some of that tension out from the lower back, then it's really going to help lower those stress levels. So here's how you're going to do it. You're going to get onto your back like so, and then you're going to stack your knees up over the hips. So the knees are directly above the hips and the feet are off the floor. From here, you're going to take your arms out to the side like so. What you're then going to do to start the stretch is you're going to take your head over one shoulder. In my case, I'm going over the right, and then I'm going to drop my knees down to the other side, twisting my whole torso, specifically at the lower back. Okay, when I'm doing this, I'm thinking about keeping my shoulder on the right hand side down into the floor, while my knees are as close to the floor as I can get them on the left hand side. I'm going to hold this for 30 to 60 seconds, then come back into the middle, take the head over the left shoulder, and then drop the knees down to the right hand side. You'll probably find that one side feels stiffer than the other. That's completely normal, don't worry about that. And if you struggle to get the knees all the way down, then go as far as you can and just drop the feet down as well, and just hold in that position. What you'll find is over time, the more you do this one, the more your flexibility and rotation will increase, and the closer you'll get to getting those knees down to one side while the shoulder stays down on the other side. Okay, so do this one, hold it for about 30 to 60 on each side, and you're going to notice that tension melt away from the lower back and still help reduce that stress. So our third movement is all about releasing tension from the thoracic region of our torso. And what we're going to do for this is a mobility movement. So rather than just holding a stretch, we're going to lengthen the tissues and repeat the movement a number of times. So what we're going to do to set ourselves up for this one is you're going to plant one foot up in front, the other knee is going to be on the floor. In this case, I've got my left knee on the floor, my right leg forward. And then I'm going to take my hands out in front like so. Now all we're doing here is we're twisting like so. So I'm twisting towards the knee that's up in front of me. So in my case it's the right leg, like so. Now you're going to do slow, deliberate movements, letting the eyes and the head follow the hand that's moving. You're going to aim for 10 repetitions. Now what I recommend you do here is think about your breathing as you do it. So take a nice deep breath in as you open up, and then let it back out as you close up. Okay? If that's too much, then just focus on the movement and worry about the breathing later. Once you've done one side, you're going to swap the legs over. So in this case, my left leg is now up, my right knee is on the floor, which means I'm opening up to the left hand side, following with my head. Now in my case, I can feel this side is much, much stiffer, which is completely normal. We're going to have one side stiffer than the other. So adding in the breathing. Okay, simple as that. It's a really good one to release the tension from this area in the chest and the upper back to help continue lowering that stress. Okay, so for movement number 4, you're going to have to get up onto your feet. Now this movement is all about distracting the mind. So we're going to take our mind off some of those things that have been stressing it out and give it something else to focus on. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do some balancing. So you're going to have to concentrate on the fact you're balancing rather than thinking about the things that are stressing you out. So there's 2 levels to this. Level 1 is to simply balance on one leg. Okay, so balance on one leg, nice deep breaths in and out as you're doing it, and see if you can hold it for 60 seconds and then repeat on the other side. If that's too easy, which it probably will be for a few of you, we're then going to add in a ball. Any ball will do, as long as it's small enough to throw it and catch it with one hand. So stand on one leg, and now you're going to throw the ball from one hand to the other, which means your eyes are having to follow the ball, so it suddenly becomes harder to balance. Okay, you can again repeat this until you hit 60 seconds, and then go on to the other side, like so. As you can see, my balance is definitely worse on the left leg than it is on the right. So 60 seconds on each side, nice little distraction technique to help lower those stress levels. Okay, so for our 5th and final movement, we're going to do some standing twists. Now this movement is a great one for getting us feeling energized and also releasing stress from the whole body. Now you may have noticed that 3 out of the 5 movements have involved some kind of twisting or rotating, and that's because our bodies love to rotate. We spend so much time in this front and back plane that we've almost forget to rotate in our day-to-day lives. A lot of time is spent sat at a computer, driving a car, sat on the sofa. Whereas actually when we start to introduce some rotation, our bodies absolutely love it and they naturally feel better, which is why it's a great way to wrap up these 5 movements to help lower our stress levels and get us feeling better. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to explode our leg across the body and we're going to meet it in the middle with the other elbow, like so. So in my case, right knee is coming up and across, left elbow is going to meet it in the middle, like that. Okay? As you do it, you're then going to look over the right shoulder so that your whole spine is twisting. Okay? So up over the shoulder as you do it. Nice explosive movement and then slow return, like so. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to aim for up to 20 on one side and then you're going to swap sides like so. Now you may find initially you find the movement pattern a little bit challenging. You may find that you try and rotate everything in the same direction like so. So the key to remember is that you're meeting your elbow and knee in the middle. The opposite elbow and knee are meeting in the middle. If you remember that, then you should get it right. So as I say, aim for up to 20 on each side. You can do more if you're really enjoying it, but 20 is going to be enough to get your heart rate up a little bit and get you feeling great. Okay? Okay, so that's the 5 movements finished, but as I said at the start of the video, I have got a bonus tip for you. So make sure you stay tuned to watch the bonus tip. So in my experience, one of the best ways to lower your stress levels is simply to spend time outdoors. It doesn't matter what your movement of choice is when you get outdoors. It could be running, could be walking, could be cycling, wild swimming, yoga in the park, maybe even playing on the monkey bars, whatever. It doesn't really matter. There's just something about being outdoors that makes us feel so much better. So there we have it, guys. Really simple. 5 movements and 1 bonus tip to help manage your stress levels. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really look forward to seeing you in the next one.